Module 4, Mindfulness. Mindfulness is defined as the state of being attentive to and aware of what is taking place in the present. When we live mindfully, we become more effective and productive. Mindlessness occurs when our thoughts are not in the present moment and when we tune out what is happening. It can help people to prevent destructive or automatic habits and responses by observing their thoughts, emotions. There are several qualities of mindfulness. Beginner's mind. It involves thinking like a child and seeing things as if for the first time. Non-judging. Mindfulness includes the ability to observe your own experience without getting caught up in assigning judgment to any of it. Represents straightforward observations. Detached observation, simply staying in an observational state of mind without judgment or expectations. Mindfulness self-efficacy. How confident are you in your ability to maintain non-judgmental awareness, acceptance of what is happening, holistic and unconditional? Non-attachment. Non-identification with the object of attention. Suppose that you just received a letter of rejection from your first-choice school. As you meditate, you experience intensely and then release dreams and anger. Now you're experiencing a non-attachment quality of mindfulness. Non-striving. Giving up our need to try to change anything. Relationship between mindfulness and reality. Reality is what it is or what is happening, while unreality is what is not happening or an illusion. One can find reality through senses and what is happening internally. Every moment of our lives, we are here and now. Life is successive present moments of here and now experiences. We use I am noticing when we are focusing on what is happening in this moment. People's minds wander about 47% of the time. Research shows people don't merely fantasize when they're unhappy, wandering minds also lead to unhappiness. If you want to stay cheerful, you're better off focusing on the present, no matter how unpleasant it is. Culture connection. As a function of culture and shared expectations, we move through transitions. Infants are the purest form of being. Adolescence is the transition to adulthood, from the joyfulness of play to a preference for doing over being. Adulthood places an even greater emphasis on doing over being. Elderhood brings us full circle to a life that favors being over doing. Mindfulness-based stress reduction may be effective in general stress reduction in everyone, managing stress and mood disorders in patients with diseases such as cancer. Mindfulness-based stress reduction. Participatory wellness program based on mindful meditation. One must know to work with aspects of awareness to decrease stress. Decreases a wide range of physical and psychological symptoms and increases clients' well-being. Improves physical, emotional, social, and mental health. Participation significantly reduced anxiety. Being mindful may reduce anxiety and decrease tendencies to take on others' negative emotions. Participation significantly reduced anxiety. For example, try sitting at a desk or table with a pen and a piece of paper. Place your non-dominant hand where you can easily see it and write down everything you notice about your hand using all of your senses. Continue doing this for several minutes. When you think you have observed everything, stop and observe again with all of your senses and continue writing. This simple activity demonstrates a powerful principle, which is that when we focus our attention on what is happening, when we keep our awareness of the here and now, we take part in an experience without stress. Inner mindfulness meditation focuses the mind internally rather than externally through the 5 senses. This encourages non-judgmental observation of thoughts and images for heightened awareness. For example, with eyes closed, take a moment to tune into your thoughts and allow yourself to non-judgmentally watch your thoughts as they seem to come and go as you keep your eyes closed. Separate your awareness from the many thoughts that pop in and leave your mind. Continue to watch your thoughts passively, as if you were pulling up a chair and sitting next to your thoughts. Practice being more mindful focus by paying attention to things that are happening around you. Rather than thinking about so many things, try simply observing all that is showing up for you in your experience. Practice being more mindful, accept and enjoy. Consciously speak to yourself, saying something like, "In this moment, I allow myself to be here now. I cannot be anywhere else right now, nor can I be in my past or future. So I choose to relax and enjoy what is happening here and now. Take mindfulness breaks in which you do nothing but engage yourself in a certain place and time. Practice being more mindful, rearrange. If you find yourself in a setting that is mundane or always the same, take time to rearrange things. For example, try a new sport or hobby. Totally engage yourself in learning a new skill. Change your normal routine slightly. Practice being more mindful, observant. When you are involved in or notice others engaging in situations with heightened emotion, step back and simply become an observer rather than becoming emotionally involved in the incident. Living mindfully does not mean that you ignore planning for the future or setting goals for what you want to accomplish. 1. Instead, think of it as a visionary process that constructively focuses on the future in this present moment. 2. Worrying about a future event and directing our attention to the potentially painful outcomes of that event is not productive. There are 2 stages of mindfulness: self-regulating one's attention on immediate experience, adopting a certain orientation toward one's experiences in the present moment, an orientation characterized by curiosity, openness, and acceptance. Managing emotions is the ability to experience a wide range of emotions, is part of what makes us uniquely human and keeps life interesting. Managing emotions means having the skills to control your emotions before they become overwhelming and prevent you from taking positive action. It is the ability to realize, readily accept, and successfully control feelings on oneself and sometimes in others around you. Physiology of Emotions. Emotion is a physical experience in which feelings are behaviorally expressed in response to any sensory information. Behavioral changes include musculoskeletal, autonomic, and endocrine responses. Negative emotions can activate the sympathetic nervous system and evoke the stress response. Long-term emotions such as fear and anger can affect health. Somaticizing is the body's way of turning mental stress into physical manifestations. As many as half of all patients who visit physicians have physical symptoms directly caused by emotions. Experiencing positive emotions like happiness, excitement, joy, hope, and inspiration is essential for anyone who wants to live a happy and healthy life. These can also reduce stress levels. In one studied example, 180 nuns who wrote autobiographies while they were in their early 20s. Diaries were analyzed many years later and assessed for common psychological features. Positive emotional content in early life autobiographies was strongly associated with longevity 6 decades later. The nuns are generally happy and positive because they strongly believed in their life choices. This greatly affected their temperament and their general attitude towards life. Guilt, worry, and anxiety. Guilt is the conscious preoccupation with undesirable past thoughts and behaviors. Guilt can destroy or teach. Guilt is a habit. You can change the focus of your thinking to mindfulness. Worry is the manifestation of fear, which keeps the mind focused on events yet to come. Surveys show that sources of worry for Americans are family and relationships, job or school, health, and finances. Most people worry about 5% of the time. Chronic worriers spend an average of about 50% of their time worrying. Anxiety is the psychological and physiological response to worry. Most things we worry about are out of our control and will likely never happen. Chronic worry is linked to a more than doubled risk of cognitive decline. Worry is not the same as caring. Worry is not the same as planning. Strategies to get rid of worry. Move your worries from your mind to paper. Practice mindfulness. Remember, worry is a habit. Always keep in mind that worrying burns off calories. Thus, I considered this as a useful thought to help manage worry. Example: how to relieve test anxiety in the case of a test. Prepare for the test. Journal your thoughts right before the test. Ask your professor what to study if unsure. Get a good night's sleep before the test. Eat right before the test. Exercise. Get your blood pumping to your brain and eliminate accumulated stress. Try a relaxation technique to take yourself out of the stress response. Practice mindfulness while answering a question. Move on if you don't know the answer. Know when enough is enough. Learn from the results and then let it go. What is fear? a state of escalated worry and apprehension that causes distinct physical and emotional reactions. Fear occurs when worry becomes intense. It usually involves a focus on the future and is likely a single most potent stressful emotion. Types of fear with examples: change, afraid to move to a new city, change majors, or break up with a boyfriend or girlfriend. Pain or physical suffering, fearful of going to the dentist or getting a shot. Failure, afraid of not being selected for the track team or not being accepted into graduate school. Specific things, snakes, spiders, or being mugged. The unknown, fearful of going away to school or of people who are different from you. For example, Selena is about to start freshman year of college in another state. While she is a confident student, she is feeling very apprehensive about the move. She is most likely experiencing fear of the unknown. Death, the biggest unknown of all. Fear is about growing. We have a natural tendency to want to expand, to become more of who we are. We tend to gravitate toward our comfort zones, but to grow, we must leave our comfort zone and move out into our discomfort zone. Overcoming fear is necessary for growth, and growth takes effort. Moving toward your potential results in feelings of accomplishment and gives meaning to life. Fear factors. 1. Fear can motivate positive action. 2. Nothing in the world is inherently fearful. 3. Fear is learned. 4. With practice and experience, we can learn to overcome our fears. Strategies for overcoming fear. Admit you are fearful. Confront your fear. Engage in whatever you are afraid of at least 3 times. As you confront your fear, call it something else, either excitement or challenge. The fear-faith connection. The more we believe that our lives are about something, the more courageous and less fearful we are when we are confronted with difficult situations. You will never overcome all your fears, but you can conquer the fears that prevent you from living your life to the fullest. If fear is intense enough, all systems can be overloaded fatally. Anger is a transient emotional response based on the way one chooses to think about events. Anger is a reaction we have when expectancy is not met, usually triggered by perceived provocation or mistreatment. Anger causes physiological and psychological arousal, including increased serum cholesterol levels. Everyone experiences anger, although to widely differing degrees. Anger combines physiological and emotional arousal and can mean anything from simple resentment or jealousy to full-blown, out-of-control rage. It is not the same as hostility. Forces contributing to anger today include time, technology, and tension. The American Automobile Association's Foundation for Traffic Safety says that incidents of violently aggressive driving rose 7% a year in the 2010s. Common situations in which people feel angry include in the car, in competitive games, at things that seem to be out of place, about taxes, about the tardiness of others, at the disorganization or sloppiness of others, at inanimate objects, over the loss of objects, over world events and conditions beyond your control. Effects of anger include increase in cortisol and adrenaline, increase in blood pressure, increase in blood sugar, faster pulse, constriction of blood vessels, increased serum cholesterol levels, decreased immune function, insomnia, and fatigue. Expressing anger is healthy, but how you express that anger may be even more important to your well-being. Risk of a heart attack was cut by more than 50% in men with moderate levels of anger expression. Relationship between anger and cardiovascular disease may be more complex than previously thought. Anger control strategies include 1. Understanding yourself. Get in touch with your thoughts at the time of your anger. Remind yourself that you don't have to think the way you've always done so in the past. Try postponing your anger. Don't try to delude yourself into believing that you enjoy something that you find distasteful. You can dislike something and still not have to be angry about it. 2. Understanding others. Remind yourself at the moment of anger that everyone has a right to be what he or she chooses. Demanding that anyone be different will simply prolong your anger. Ask someone whom you trust to let you know when he or she sees your anger. 3. Anger blocker, admit it. Keep an anger journal. The act of having to write down the incident will persuade you to choose anger less often. After you have had an angry outburst, admit that you have slipped and that you are working on thinking differently. 4. Challenge yourself. Try being physically close to someone that you love at the moment of your anger. Diffuse your anger for the first few seconds by labeling how you feel. Get rid of unrealistic expectations. Love yourself. Use a situation as a challenge to change it. Stop viewing anger as natural or only human. Hostility is often thought of as anger that is projected outward at something or someone in an aggressive or antagonistic way. It is especially dangerous to the heart and may be a good predictor of heart attacks. After age 50, people report being consistently happier, less stressed, and less worried than their younger counterparts. Older people may be more effective at regulating their emotions than younger adults.